वेलकम एवरीवन। कैसे आप सब? एज यू नो, जैसे कि आप जानते हैं कि हमारी Django REST फ्रेमवर्क की एक मुकम्मल सीरीज स्टार्ट है फ्रॉम लास्ट फ्यू डेज। और Django REST फ्रेमवर्क सीरीज इज गोइंग ऑन, so finally we are ready to build our first project using Django REST framework. If you are new on this channel, don't forget to subscribe and like. अगर आप इस चैनल पे नए हैं तो सब्सक्राइब और लाइक लाजमी करें। इससे क्या होगा कि जो हमारी सीरीज़ चल रही है अभी Django REST फ्रेमवर्क की, और जो पाइथन और Django की जो हमारी सीरीज़ थी उसकी भी नोटिफिकेशन टाइम टू टाइम आते रहेंगे और वो भी आप वीडियोस देखते रहेंगे। तो लेट्स स्टार्ट व्हाट यू विल डू इन द फर्स्ट Django REST framework project. Let's start. So as you see, I just opened my VS Code and DRF series. This is the folder which I want to code the Django REST framework in this folder. So inside this I am going to create a Django project. So first of all I am going to create my environment for Django REST framework series. So let's start and create an environment. Python -env. I'm going to create environment with name env. Let's create this. Wait for a few minutes and this will create us environment with name env. So as you see, env is created and still is working on creating. So we are successfully create our Django REST framework environments. So I am going to cd env inside these scripts activate dot bat. I am getting the command activate.bat was not found but does exist in the current location. Windows PowerShell does not load commands from the current location by default. If you trust this, so for that I am going to open my command prompt and close this. cd env cd scripts activate.bat. As you see, my environment is activated successfully. I go back to my script environment folder back, and inside this I'm going to create cd. I just want to use this environment for my whole Django REST framework series. So here I am going to build a project with the command Django admin start project, and this is, let's say, Pro1. Let's say our project name is Pro1 Django admin. I have to install Django admin in my environment. So for that I am going to pip install Django. Guys, as you see, my Django is installing in my environment env. If you already learned Django on this channel, you know what is the purpose of environment. And here I am going to install my Django, and then I am going to, as you see, my Django is started successfully. The version of Django, let me Python the Python version, clear my terminal, and Django admin -- version. As you see, the current version of Django is 5.1 in my case. So I am going to run Django admin. Using this command you will create your project, and I am going to create the project with name Pro1 Django admin. As you see, I am getting a new folder with name Pro1. This is our project. Inside this we have another Pro1. So this is basically the project, and this is our folder. So let's do some more things. cd Pro1 Python manage.py start. I'm going to start our app with this command with name API. As you see in the root folder of Pro1, I got a new folder with API1. So this is our app and this is our project folder, and this is our root project folder. So after that, let's see what is our version of Python which I am currently using. If Python version, the command to check the version of Python version, as you see the current version is 3.12.4. Clear my terminal and I am going to run Freezy. This will show me the Django version and all this. After that, I am going to run the Django REST Framework to install in this environment. If install Django REST Framework, by using this command, I am going to install Django REST Framework in this environment. As you see, till now I am not getting anything related to Django REST Framework. So let me run this command. As you see, the command is running, and let me clear my terminal and if Freezy. I am getting the version REST Framework 3.15.2. So I successfully installed Django and REST Framework in this environment. So let's continue. After all this, I am going inside Pro1 folder and open my settings.py, and here I am going to include in this list install _app the REST framework and as well as our app. The app name is API, as you know. So I just add REST _framework in this install _apps list inside my settings.py of project 1. The project name is Pro1. So after doing all this, I am going in the API folder, and here I am going to create some models. So here I am create a model with name class student, and after this models.model. So the column, and here the fields are name, models.char field, and the max length is 100, and after that the city, models.char field, and the max length is 100 as well. Max length is 100, and after that I am going to add L name, last name. This is the first name and this is the last name. So models chart char field, max length will be 100 as well. So I am pasting here the first name, last name, city, and the role, and this will be the role. Models.integer field. This is integer field. So I just create a model with name student. Guys, let me explain this quickly for you. As you see, this all code defines a Django model with name student to represent student data. Models are used to structure and interact with data in Django application. As you know, models are used to structure and interact with data in Django applications. So for that, I am going to import the by default import in models.py django.db import models imports the model module from Django. This will be importing the model module from the Django. This model module will provide us tools for defining database model. So after that, this is our model, and I am defining a model with name student. Create a new model class name. As you see, I am creating a new model with name class student, and on the first F name models.char field, the max length is 100. Basically, I am defining a character field. I am defining a character field named fname. As you see, I am defining a field, character field with name fname with a maximum length of 100 character. This field will store the student first name, and then I am creating the last name. The L name means the last name defines a character field name. This will also our character field with name L name with maximum length of 100 character. This will store the student last name. After L name, the last name, I am creating another character field. I am defining a character field with name city, as you see, with a maximum length of 100 characters. This field will store the student city, and after that I am going to create an integer field with name roll. As you see, integer field with name roll. This field will store the student roll number. So as a whole, this all code creates a database table. This model will create a database table named student with column fname, lname, city, and roll. Each row in this table will represent a student with corresponding data. So I hope this will make sense for you. ये जो मैंने मॉडल क्रिएट किए, ये मैं बेसिकली क्या कर रहा हूँ, इसकी मदद से मैं डेटाबेस के अंदर एक टेबल क्रिएट करूँगा जिसका नाम स्टूडेंट होगा और उसके जो कॉलम होंगे फर्स्ट नेम, लास्ट नेम, सिटी एंड रोल नंबर. So all done for this. So after creating a table, I have to run some commands. Python manage.py make migrations. Let me run this command. As you see, I am getting db.sqlite 3 db here and migration 001 initial.py, and in the output you see create model student. With the help of this command, we are basically generating an SQL query. With the help of this query, we are generating a database table. After running this command, we have to run another command, python manage.py migrate. Let me run this. As you see, something is applying. As you see, clear my terminal. Let me explain these two commands, make migrations and migrate. As you see, I just create a model with names student, and these changes which I made here to the Django model, as you see our model. So in this case I am just creating a model. So the make migration files. Let me understand these two commands in more simplest way. Make migration is like creating a blueprint for changes you have made to your website structure in your models. This model is going to use in the website. That's why we are running a make migration command, and this command is creating a blueprint for changes you have made. As you see, when I open this command, and you see the same blueprint here, and after running make migrations, migrate is like taking the blueprint, taking that blueprint and actually building the changes into your website foundation in the database side. So I hope this will make sense for you. If any doubt on this point, please comment it. I am here to understand more easiest way. Let's continue. By running the make migration command, we execute the SQL query. After execute the SQL query, we have to run one command. This command is, I just show you, this python manage.py migrate. So this command, migrate command, will create a table in the DB. As you see, I just open my database with name by default DB SQLite 3, and if I refresh this, as you see, I am getting the table API underscore student the table is created and the column ID, first name, last name, city and role. So after running the migrate command, this will create table in the by default db.sqlite3 of Django. After creating a table in the database, let me create a super user. So Python minute.py create super user, and the super user name is pro1. This is just for testing purpose and just to understand things, and I am keeping this point and I am using some password here. So yes, so I just successfully created my super user. By creating super user, now I am able to log in using the admin of Django. Let me show you. Let me run this Python minute.py run server. When I run my server, you will see the port 8000 and the server is running on this 8000 local host. Let me open this. As you see, our Django server is running successfully, and if I navigate to admin page, and here I am going to pro1 is our username, and I am going to log in with credentials. Not now. As you see, with the help of create super user, I am successfully logged in the admin of Django page using my credentials of create super user. So that's why I create a super user to log in my admin site. As you see here, I am not getting related the student model which we create, and we create a table in our DB. So till now I am not getting things related the student model. So I am going in back to my VS Code. I just open my VS Code, and here I have to do some things. So to show data in my admin side, I am going to open the admin.py, and here from .models I am importing my student model which I create in my models.py file, and after that class student admin and admin.model admin I am going to display the things, the first ID and then F name and then the L name of student and then the city and the role and then the city. So I want to show all this in my admin side, that's why I write this code. Let me explain all this. So basically I am going to manage the student data in the Django interface. So as you see, the by default Django.contrib import admin, this import the Django admin tools which allow you to manage your data through a web interface, and from models.import student, this import the student model as you see which we define in the models.py file. So after that I just create a class with name student admin, and that tells Django this student admin, that tells Django how to display and manage student objects in the admin interface. So this is the responsible class which tells Django how to display and manage student objects in the admin interface. So list underscore display, this line specifies which fields from the student. This line list underscore display, this whole line specifies which field from the student model should be displayed in the admin interface. So in this case I want to show ID, F name, last name, roll number and city fields. So after doing all this, and when we go to the Django admin interface, you will see a list of students with this field displayed. You can now, so in this code I am going to use some more code, admin.register, and I am passing student in this. So let me explain what is this. So this is basically decorator in Django. This line is basically starting with @ and this is decorator in Django, and this Django decorator is a concise way to register a model with the Django admin interface, and this decorator is responsible to automatically create an admin view for the specified model, allowing you to manage and edit its instance through the admin panel. So as you see, this decorator is taking student as an argument. This decorator takes the model class student as an argument. So when you apply this decorator to the student admin, when you apply this decorator to the student admin class, it automatically registers the student model with the admin interface. This means that you can now access and manage student objects through the admin panel. So benefit of using this decorator, it provides a more concise and readable way to register models compared to manually defining the admin class. So that's why I am using this decorator. Using this decorator, Django automatically generates the necessary admin views and fields based on the model's definition. So these are something about this whole code. Let's continue. As you see, I am getting some errors. The value of list underscore display 1, this is the index 1, f name which is not callable or attribute or student main attribute. So let me check. This is the f name, not the f num. So let me save this. As you see, our problem is solved. So when you get some problems as a developer, you have to not confuse, because you have to understand the problem, then you will solve this problem and then you will become a good developer. After doing this, I come back to my browser window, and here I am going to refresh this. As you see, I am getting the students, add student. As you see, here you see the API is our app name, and in this app we have a table students, and when I click on this, I am getting this view, and I have an option to add student in this table. So here I am going to add some data. The first name is Hafiz and the last name is Khan, and city is Lahore, and the role is 1. Let me save this, and I am going to add another student, Kashif Khan, and city is Islamabad, and the role is 2. And I am going to add 1 in the other. First name is Mudassir and Khan, and the city is Khan, and this will be, let me add one more student here, Tazan and Khan, and cities Rawal Hindi, and this is the dummy data. Let me add this. So I have 4 students with ID 1, 2, 3, 4 respectively, and the name and the last name and the cities. So as you know, this is our first object, the second, third and fourth. Let me refresh this. As you see, this we have 4 objects. So my task is to convert this complex data to native Python data type, and then to JSON data type, then to JSON data, and then we have to send this JSON data to the front end side. Let me log out this. I just come back to my VS Code, and here what in this API, as you know, this is our app, and here I am going to create some files inside this, and I am going to create a new file with name serializers.py, and let me press enter. This will create the file for us with name serializers.py. From REST framework, I am going to import serializers, and with the help of this serializer I want to convert the complex data to the native Python data type. That's why I am importing this serializer class. So here I am going to write some codes. Class student serializer.serializers, and after that the f name will be serializer dot char field max underscore length will be 100, and after that last name serializer dot char field max underscore length is 100 characters, and then role serializers dot integer field, and after that for city serializers dot char field and max length will be 100 character. Let me copy this all, and here I am going to create a form student form, and from form start form, and this all will be forms. Let me correct this as well. This will be forms. This code I just write it for you. Basically, when we write Django forms code, that time we write like this. So in serializer, we are using serializer instead of forms, and from serializer.serializers. As you see, other thing serializer.serializer, not serializers. So this is just example to understand you. The serializer class is looking like the same as we create model in form in Django. I think if you know the form of Django, then I sure you will not confuse related serializer. So I am going to create a one view in the views.py. As you know, we use views.py for creating a view. So first of all, I am going to import my model from .models import student model class, and after that I am going to create one view with name student detail and passing parameter request here, and this view is responsible single student data. Get single student data, get single student data with the help of this, and this is basically our model object. And here stu, this will be our student, or I'm going to use the short stu on the base of on the place of student to save your time. Student.objects.all student.objects.get the id of student1, and I'm passing the id 1, and after that, using the serializer student, let me import serializer from dot serializer import student serializer. So here student serializer, and I am passing the complex data. As you know, this is our complex data, and by using the serializer I am converting it to the native data type, native Python data types, and then I have to convert this native Python data type to the JSON data. So for that I am going to import one more thing from REST framework dot renderers import JSON render. So I am using this JSON render, and after that dot render, and I am passing the serializer, and this will be serializer, and I am going to convert this serializer data dot data, and after that this will convert the serializer data to, and then I have to convert or return this in this view from Django.http. For returning import I am using the http response. So I am going to use http response, and inside this I am passing JSON data, and this will be our content type. Content underscore type will be application JSON. Using this, the HTTP response is able to understand which type of data is sent, the JSON type, JSON data, and the content type application JSON. Let me understand this view student underscore detail function code again. This function handle request to get detail of a specific student. This student function, this student underscore detail view function handle request to get details of a specific student, and as you see here, it will retrieve a student object with id 1 from the database. Using this will retrieve the data of a student object with id 1. So after that, it then creates student serializer object with the retrieved student object stu to convert it to format in native Python data type, and then on the next line, as you see here, this native Python data type serializer data to the JSON object with the retrieved student object stu to convert into serializer data into the JSON data string. This JSON render is used to convert the serializer data or the native Python data into the JSON string. And finally, HTTP response, as you see here, is used to send this JSON string back to the user browser, specifying the content type as a application JSON. So this whole code shows how to create a view function that retrieve a single student details. This view function is showing us how to get the data, how to retrieve a single student details, and then convert into data into JSON format, the serializer data into JSON format, and sends it back to the user browser as a JSON response or to the client. I hope this will make sense for you. So I am going to the project folder, and here inside urls.py, as you see the all command code, and here I am going to import from API import views, and after that path using this path function, and I am passing the stu info, and here, and this will be views dot student detail. Whenever this endpoint will be hit, then this function will be called, and when this function will be called, this will show us the data about student. Let me save this, and if I API view has no attribute student detail, views dot student detail. As you see, I am getting this. I think I have not saved my this code. Let me save this. As you see, when I save this, the last error is solved, and serializer dot integer field, Django REST Framework dot serializer has no attribute integer field. Let me correct the spelling here. As you see, I am getting the correct spelling is integer field, not the integer field like this. So I hope all the problem will solve. So if all the problem will be solved, let me show in the browser window. Let me refresh my browser window. This is done, and if I go to the student stu info, admin, okay, if I go to the stu info completed files, let me refresh one more time. Student info, this will be stu info completed open file. I'm not getting the related details of student info on this endpoint. Let me open my code, and here JSON data, and as you see, the content type is not enclosed in the single quotes, and this will be in like this. So let me refresh this, go to this endpoint, and this will show me data. As you see, I getting the data, f name, last name, role, and city. As you see, I am getting data, the JSON data, and then the raw data. As you see, this is our raw data, and the header is, as you see, application JSON, content type is application JSON, and this is our JSON data. And I come back to my VS Code, and I want to show you the complex data stu and the native Python data, print serializer dot data, and the JSON data, print JSON underscore data. Let me save this code, and I have to refresh this. If I refresh this, and if I open my VS Code again, as you see, I am printing in terminal. I am getting some data in the terminal. As you see, the student object 1, this is the complex data type, and this is the our, let me show you clearly. So student object 1, this is our complex data, and this is our Python data, native Python native data, and then the JSON data, as you see. And when I understand you the JSON difference between the native and Python native data type data and the JSON data, as you see, the JSON data have the double quotes for the keys. As you see, in the Python native, I have just one quote, and this is our complex data. And let me comment these lines, print JSON data, and this serializer Python native data type of using the serializer. Here you see I am giving the direct ID inside my student detail view. So I want to use the URL. I want to pass something from the URL and get data. So for that I am passing parameter pk inside, and this will be pk, and on the urls.py in the project urls.py I am passing something int. This will be pk. Let me save this, and if I refresh my browser on this student info, I am getting nothing. As you see, page not found. And if I go to the ID, if I use and pass the ID 2 to check the student info of student ID with the help of student ID, let me show you. The student info of the student ID 2 is this, the JSON data and the raw data about the student ID with 2. So in this way you will pass the ID of a student and get the information using after the endpoint in the URL in the address bar, as you see. After getting the data for only the one student, now it's time to get all the data. So for that I am going to use copy this code, and here I want to print here and get all student data, with the help of query set, and this will be our query set. And after that I have to clear this. I not want to pass any ID to get the data, and here I am going to use all. And after that I have to pass many. As I told you, when you fetch the data, all data, as you know, in the STU we have many student data, and we have to pass many equal to true, as I learned in our earlier session. And I am going to change this student detail to student list. This will be student list. Let me save this, and in some URLs I want to, this will be std, and I want to use the std instead of stu. And after that I am passing here, and this will be student info. When on this I want, on student info I want to get all data from the DB, and on this just to get the one student from the DB. Let me refresh this. Still working for the, this is student, page not found. Let me save this. This will change the settings. If I refresh this, you see I'm getting on the endpoint std info and the ID of 2, I'm getting the student ID 2 data. And if I just pass student info missing one required positional argument primary key, let me solve this. As you see, I not change here. This is the student detail, and the student detail view function needs some primary key values. So this is the student list. On this endpoint student info, I want, when this will be hit, I want this function will be called and get the data of our student on this endpoint. Let me save this. Let me refresh my browser window. As you see, I am getting all the data. So this is done to get all the data. If you are new on this channel, don't forget to subscribe, because we are starting a whole series from A to Z to teach you Django REST Framework from hero to zero. I take my responsibility to teach you Django REST Framework in simplest and easy way. Don't forget to subscribe and like, share with your friends. Let's continue. So guys, here is the twist. Let me understand you the twist. Till now we are getting the data in our browser, and we want this JSON data on the front end side. Okay, and to get the data in the front end side, we have to build application to get this data from the front end side, and we have so many options to build this. We are going to use React.js, we have an option, and we have a Python. As you know, our DRF series is starting, and I assume you are learning, you are from the background from Python and then Django and then Django REST Framework. So I am going to create an application which will hit this endpoint using the Python. So let's create simple app in Python which will get this data as a front end side and print this data in the terminal. So for that I come back to my VS Code, and here close all this. This is working. So let me minimize this, and this is our project root folder, and inside this project root folder I am going to create app, my app dot, this will be my app dot py, import request, and after that the URL will be let me copy student info from here, passing here, and after that I am using rs. This will be our variable, and from requests dot get the URL will be URL, and after that I am converting res.json, convert this result to the JSON, and this will be our data. Let me print this data in my terminal to show you the working app. So if I hit this student info, as you see our server is running. I am going to open cmd command prompt here, and here cd pro 1 and python my app.py. I am going to run this. Let me run this. No module request. As you see, I have no module request. Let me hit freezy to see why I am getting this. As you see, I have no module. So let me install this. Pip install requests. Let me install this in my environment. As you see, our request module is installed. Clear my terminal cls, and if I run this command again, run my Python application, and as you see, I am getting all the data from my DB, and in this way, using this Python application, as you see, this is our, assume that this is our third-party application which want to get data from our server on this URL. So in this way you will get the response from our server. Let me open the server side and open my views.py of our app here. As you see here, we are using HTTP response. This is the longest code line. Instead of this, I am going one more thing. In Django HTTP, we have JSON response. This JSON response will automatically convert this. Let me use this return JSON response, and I am passing JSON. I am passing the serializer.data inside this, and using these two lines, instead of using these two lines, I am going to use the one single line. Let me save this and let me apply here as well. Let me return JSON response, and I am passing serializer.data inside this. So this one class, JSON response class, will handle all thing JSON data, and then we have return this JSON response that when this student list view function will be called. Let me save this code, and when I hit this, as you see here, clear my terminal, CLS, and when I run my app, getting some errors. Executing line 1 column 1 JSON encode error RS JSON. Let me print the type of data, type of RES. Let me print this, and let me comment this line. When this URL is hitting and this endpoint hit, and what type of data I am getting, let handle with the help of debugging. As you see, model request models dot response. If I print this directly, RES, if I print this response 500, as you see, when I print the RS, this give me the response in 500. Let me open the views.py here, and if I check the updated code, JSON response serializer data, I have to pass here one more argument, safe. This will be safe false. Let me understand why I am passing this, and here as well, safe false. And after that, if I run my app, clear my terminal, CLS, if I run my app, as you see, I am getting the 200 response, means I am getting my data from this URL from third-party API. Assume this Python app is third-party app. As you see, I am getting the 200 response and getting all the data from the DB on this URL. As you see, when this URL is hit, and I am getting the data from this URL from the server. This, as you see, the server is running here. Let me understand why I am using this safe is equal to false. When you create a JSON response, Django uses JSON.dumps to convert Python object into a JSON format. Whenever you use JSON response, Django uses JSON.dumps to convert Python object into a JSON format. By default, JSON response assumes that the data you are serializing is a dictionary or a list of dictionaries. The safe parameter is used to specify whether the data being serialized should be restricted to these types. So safe equal to true by default. This means that the JSON response will only accept a dictionary or list of dictionaries. If you pass any other type of object, Django will raise a type error. This is a safeguard to prevent you from accidentally sending invalid JSON response. So the safe is equal to false uses here. If you see here, the safe false. This allows JSON response to serialize any JSON serializable Python object, not just dictionaries. This includes lists, strings, numbers. This flexibility can be useful but require caution. So by using the safe is equal to false, our APIs will return different types of data of responses from our API. So I hope this will make sense. So this is the first initial project using Django REST Framework. If you like our efforts, don't forget to subscribe and like, share with your friend. If any doubt till now, please comment it, guys. अगर कुछ भी समझ ना आए, please comment करें. मैं यहाँ पे हूँ आप लोगों को प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करने के लिए. Thanks for watching.